Hello everyone, welcome to Tinjika Insights. Kubernetes is a very complex system and it can be really challenging at times to troubleshoot or identify problems. K8s GPT is an AI-based open source project that leverages AI for easy management of Kubernetes. In this short video, we try to get a glimpse of K8s GPT and its superpowers. So what is K8s GPT? K8s GPT is an open source project which uses large language models to make Kubernetes management easier. The most attractive thing about the project is its seamless integration with any LLMs. Now let's look at how we can get started with K8s GPT. So what you see on screen is the home page of the K8s GPT website. You can see links to documentation and other aspects. So let me click on the docs and show you the documentation page. Okay, let's see how we can get started with K8s GPT by installing K8s GPT and using it in a cluster. So if I go into the getting started guide, it is a very straightforward documentation here, which you can use to do all the things. So K8s GPT, you have to install K8s GPT by following the installation instruction. Let me show you that. So this is the installation instruction that is available. So any platform you are on, you can use corresponding package managers or different options that are available here. So I'm on Mac and I used Brew to install it. So this is Brew install K8s GPT was what I did. So this is a very straightforward installation here. So once it is done, in order to verify, just type the command K8s GPT version and verify what version you have. That's all you need to do. Very straightforward. So now coming back to the guide again. So once you have K8s GPT, the next thing that you would want is a Kubernetes cluster to connect to. Um, if you already have a Kubernetes cluster in cloud, don't worry about going about the setting up the cluster because you can directly connect to the cluster that you already have. So cloud or on-prem, wherever you have a cluster, you can use that cluster and try out K8s GPT. So what we have just installed is the CLI version of K8s GPT. So that is something that you would want to keep in mind. There is two ways you can use K8s GPT and get the benefits out of it. One way is use the K8s GPT CLI tool and use that to analyze the cluster. The other way is to use the Kubernetes operator. There is a Kubernetes operator available for K8s GPT, which will continuously monitor your cluster and report issues and other aspects, right? So in this video, I will only concentrate on the K8s GPT CLI. I'll be just showing the K8s GPT CLI. And once you have, so if you do not have a cluster, you can use tools like Kind to have a local cluster installed. All right. So once you have K8s GPT installed, the next thing that you need is a backend. Okay. So in K8s GPT terms, it is called a backend. Backend means it is any LLM that you can connect to K8s GPT. So K8s GPT uses the LLM that is connected to it for analyzing and explaining the problems in the cluster. So as you can see, the getting started guide shows OpenAI. So the recommended LLM is OpenAI because it is the most powerful one. Now let's look at all the backends that are available with ChatGPT. So if you go into the reference section in the documentation, you can see the providers here. So if we go into the providers section, you can see all the backends that are currently supported. So it's a long list now. You will see all the major LLM providers in this list. And additionally, you will have the option of local AI and Ollama. So local AI and Ollama is tools that you can use to run open source LLM models locally. So in this demo, in this video, I will be using Ollama to show you the features in K8s GPT. So configuring a backend is very straightforward. So there is a command called K8s auth add. So I'll explain more about this when I show the demo. So let me go into the Ollama section. So this is the Ollama section. So there is an option to connect Ollama using local AI backend and Ollama. We will be using the local AI backend option for Ollama in this video. Okay. In order to make use of Ollama, we need to first download Ollama and locally and run the model. So in order, you can go to ollama.com, which is the home for Ollama, and you can go to the download section, and you will see download options for each of your any of your operating system. Okay, now let's get to the exciting part and see all of these things in action. So right now, what you see on screen is the Ollama run command. So I have used Llama 3.1. This is the 8 billion parameters model. This is a smaller model. So the capabilities would be lesser. Okay. So Ollama run Llama 3.1 is a command, and once I have run this command, I've tested it with some questions that I asked the LLM. So yeah, so it is working perfectly. So I've set it up here, and now let's dive into KDSGPT. So as told earlier, I have already installed KDSGPT using the brew command. So if I type KDSGPT here, I'll see the command with all the details. So I'll just type KDSGPT version. And as you can see, this is 3.4 version, 0.3.4 for 0 version of KDS Okay, once you have KDS installed, the first thing that you want to do is to connect it to the backend, like what we described earlier. So in order to connect to the backend, the command that you have to use is the auth command. So the auth command will authenticate you to a chosen backend. That is what it does. So let's look at KDS auth list and see what are the backends. So as you can see, all the available backends are here, but the default one is chosen as OpenAI. Remember that the OpenAI one is not yet authenticated. If you have to use it, you have to authenticate it. So there is a way to authenticate OpenAI, but in this video, as I already told, we'll be using Llama locally. So in order to use Llama locally, we have to use the auth command to connect to Llama, and I will be particularly using the local AI backend like I described earlier. So here you can find how Ollama can be connected to the backend using local AI, right? So I'll be using Ollama as a backend in this command. Okay, so in order to add local AI as a backend, this is the command that we use. So we will like we will type KDSGPT auth add backend as local AI, and the model here I will be giving as Ollama. So whatever I have running in the Ollama server, that will be used by local AI as the backend in this case. Okay, so I just configure it. I think it is already added. So okay, so here you go. So like earlier, I have shown that it was only OpenAI, the default model that was there. So now the active model is local AI is shown as an active one. Okay, so in order to analyze the cluster, all that you have to use is the KDSGPT analyze. Okay. I already have a cluster running locally. I used Kind to install a cluster. So let me show you the cluster that is running here. So you can see that there is a KDSGPT cluster already running. And if I use kubectl, and this is in context now, so context of kubectl now. So if I just run the kubectl get ports, so I don't have any ports running in the default non ports namespace, and also we try services. So I only have one service running now. So this is what I have as setup now. So now if I use KDSGPT and run the analysis on analyze command on KDSGPT, it will show you all the problems that are available in the cluster that is already in context. Okay, so let me try that. So as you can see, I only used analyze command, and the a provider is telling that the A was not used, and also there were no problems detected. So as you can see, there was nothing running in the cluster. There was no problem detected. So the other aspect is that if you want to use the power of AI, you have to use the explain tool here. So that we will see when we have some problems detected. So now let's look at some common problems and how KDSGPT will detect those. Okay. The first example that we will look at is a problem port, a port that will fail for sure. So let me show you the definition for that failed port. So this is the definition for the failed port. As you can see, I have particularly given the command wrong here. So I have given some command which that command does not exist, so this pod will not start, right? So let me apply this. So this will create this pod in the default namespace. So as you can see, it has created the pod, but the pod is in crash loop. Okay, so now we know the reason here, but most often the reason of a failure is not known to people. So that's when we use KDSGPT, right? So let me run the KDSGPT analyze command again. Okay, all right. So it has detected this issue here, right? It is showing that the some command executable file not found. So in this case, it could grab the error statement here. So this gives a hint to you on what the problem is. Now let's see how we can use the explain command and make ChatGPT explain what can we do about this problem, right? All right, let's use the explain command to explain this problem to us, right? So that is where the AI backend would be used. So again, KDSGPT analyze with the explain switch. You have to, I'm passing the backend now since I have not added local as the default. If you added it as default, you do not need to do this. So let's run this. Okay, so now you can see that it has analyzed and grabbed the problem again, and it also gives you a simplified error message, right? So this error message that it grabbed is not very intuitive, right? So it has given you a simplified error message which simply says the port failed due to an error in the container command demo container. So this becomes very direct to the end user on what the problem is, and it is also giving you the solution, right? That is the most important part. So you have the solution where you can check the command to run the container, verify the command exists or not. So all these things. So basically, this is very accurate information. This is actually very accurate information that KDSGPT has given us, right, to debug this issue. And I know that this is a very trivial issue, but this just shows how we can use KDSGPT, right? All right, let's look at one more use case where there is no obvious error, but you still have a problem in the cluster. So what I'll try to do is I'll create a service. So let me show the service YAML here. So this is a service which does not have so this has some selectors here, but these selectors does not exist, right? So this will not have a backend, and it is a service which will not have an endpoint. You can see that the my service is created, and the interesting part here is that if you try to describe this SVC, you will not see any problems, right? Because this is just a missing endpoint, so you wouldn't even see any problems here, right? So yeah, so you don't see any errors in the events or anything like that. So let's run KDSGPT again. Okay, you can see that there are two issues reported now, right? So even though there were no errors that we saw in my service, it has detected that an important thing is missing. So service has no endpoints and expected label for this expected label, right? So let me use explain command again. Okay, now it is giving the explanation for both the problems. Let's look at the second problem, the first problem here. So the error is that service has no endpoints, the label is there, and the solution is check if the my app deployment exists. So this is the most important insight here, right? So you have now the service endpoint created, you don't see any errors, but finally when you would have taken this application, that application wouldn't have worked, right? But this KDSGPT immediately detected that there is an endpoint that is not available, and it is giving you all these options like my app deployment exists, check if this deployment exists, verify the label, all those aspects. So if the deployment is already existing, you might want to check the label, right? And then reapply the service configuration. So all these are insights that is given to the engineer who is looking at this, and the problem can be identified much faster. So this shows a much more these two examples would have given you a glimpse of what is the possibilities that is there with KDSGPT, how you can explore it. So anyone who is experienced with Kubernetes knows that most of the problems might not be trivial, and it takes a lot of time to debug those. So KDSGPT would definitely be a very good tool in your arsenal, right? So that you can use this KDSGPT for any insights into the problems that is occurring in the cluster. So like you saw in the service example, the service example, it was not even having any errors, right? But it still detected what was the most important thing that is missing, and why your application wouldn't work. So that was explained by Keras GPT, which is very nice. So I encourage all of you to go and take a look at this tool. This is a very promising tool. Again, this has been qualified into the CNCF sandbox, which means this is a very serious project now. So I hope there will be more additions to this tool by the community, and this will mature a lot, I believe. Okay, some of the core aspects that I have not covered in this video is things like how to use the Kubernetes operator that is available with Keras GPT. That will be for another video, and you can look out for that video from this channel. Please do subscribe and like this channel if you like the content, and thank you very much for watching.